This week in crypto, everything changed. Again. Prices surged, crashed, and surged again. Bitcoin nearly touched $124,000 before sliding back. Altcoins followed with their own roller coaster moves, and institutions quietly made plays that could change the landscape forever. If you're still holding, still watching, and still wondering whether this market is heading for another leg up or about to rug pull, you're not alone. Let's get into everything that happened and what's about to happen next. Please do us a favor and hit like now. It helps more than you know. But first, here's a story that could flip your entire view of the market, because Stellar Lumens just did something few people saw coming. Is this the moment Stellar goes from underdog to top-tier contender? Could XLM flip Polkadot, and then some? And is this really the coin that could become the next standard for global payments, overtaking competitors with more hype but less use? Let's break this all down, because what happened this week might be the biggest shift in the utility coin race in years. While Bitcoin continued its macro push, one coin quietly outperformed the rest: Stellar Lumens XLM. It surged from 40 cents to 52 cents this week, marking a plus 30% jump in just 5 days, with analyst sentiment shifting fast. Legendary chartist Peter Brandt didn't mince words. He called it the most bullish chart in crypto right now, stating that if XLM holds above its April low and breaks the $1 range, the target becomes 7.23. To most, that would sound impossible. But XLM has been here before, and this time, it's not alone. Real-world adoption is exploding. This week, Stellar was cited in a United Nations development paper for blockchain infrastructure aiding underbanked communities. It's already operational across the Philippines, Brazil, and large parts of Africa. Partnerships with Circle, Franklin Templeton, and MoneyGram are already underway and expanding. XLM is being used in the wild. Right now, not in testnets, not in beta, but in real-world cross-border transfers. So why is this moment different? First, network activity. Stellar recorded its highest active address count in over 2 years this week. Transaction volume jumped 41%, with Soroban smart contracts starting to get real traction. The Protocol 23 upgrade is nearly here, bringing faster, cheaper, more efficient contract execution. Second, regulatory clarity. Stellar's structure and operations align with most global compliance models. Unlike privacy coins or overly decentralized competitors, Stellar is working with regulators, not against them. That makes it an obvious choice for governments testing CBDCs, and they are. Brazil's central bank sandbox trial is underway, and Stellar is front and center. Third, the flippening. Polkadot, a major name in the Layer 0 space, is now in XLM's sights. Market cap-wise, Stellar needs only a small move to overtake Polkadot. At the time of writing, Polkadot sits around $14.5 billion in market cap. Stellar, $13.7 billion. XLM already touched $0.52. If it maintains a close above $0.34, which puts it at Polkadot's market cap, it officially flips it. And that matters more than you think. Flipping a utility coin like Polkadot would mark a major psychological shift. It tells the market that Stellar isn't just a remittance network anymore. It's a top-tier Layer 1 with serious institutional and governmental use. And here's what's wild. If XLM goes to $1, it not only leaves Polkadot in the dust, it starts competing with Avalanche, Cardano, and maybe even Ethereum. What makes this even more compelling is that the flip isn't just hype. It's built on greater regulatory alignment, real-world usage, over $445 million in tokenized assets live, expanding partnerships, accelerating developer growth. Let's talk about that last point. Stellar's Soroban ecosystem has grown over 87% in active devs quarter over quarter. GitHub commits are up. New dApps are deploying. This isn't the ghost chain critics used to dismiss. And while Polkadot is still refining parachains and messaging protocols, Stellar is already onboarding real users at scale. That's why people are watching this closely, and that's why 72 cents, 80 cents, and even $1 plus are suddenly not that far away. The bigger narrative here is simple. Stellar is positioning itself as the blockchain for institutions, governments, and fintechs, without the regulatory baggage or environmental issues. If you're watching for the next breakout utility coin, it may already be here. And if XLM follows the same trajectory it did in 2017 to 2018, where it ran from 0.03 to 0.94, then 7.23 may not even be the final top. But before we get carried away, let's track it against what matters. Onchain Metrics, developer activity, exchange inflows, outflows, partner growth. This week, all four turned bullish. And as Peter Brandt has been right on major Bitcoin and Ethereum reversals over the years, his bullish signal on Stellar is grabbing serious attention. Stellar now leads Polkadot in social volume, Reddit discussions, and YouTube trend interest, marking a major narrative shift. And if you're still with us, here's where things start getting even more interesting. Because while price is one thing, momentum is another, and Stellar Lumens has both right now. Let's talk about volume. Over the past 7 days, Stellar has averaged over $450 million in daily trading volume, more than double its previous 30-day average. That's not just bots or whales playing games. That's consistent participation from retail, institutions, and even algorithmic traders betting on its future. Meanwhile, Polkadot's volume has remained flat. Even with news of Parachain auctions and Kusama upgrades, the market just isn't reacting. That's not to say Polkadot isn't a serious contender. It is. But the momentum right now isn't in its favor. And when it comes to price action psychology, momentum matters. It's what creates breakout narratives. It's what catches the attention of big players. And it's what makes coins like XLM suddenly feel like they're undervalued, even when they're already up 30% in a week. But here's the bigger twist. There's growing speculation, backed by a few early whispers in the dev community, that Stellar is being considered as a pilot platform for one of the G20 central banks' next phase CBDC trials. Now, we can't name names until official announcements drop, but if that gets confirmed, it's game over for the current ranking system. Because here's the truth. Most utility blockchains aren't actually being used by the people they were built for. Polkadot's parachains are powerful, but complex to onboard. Avalanche is fast, but lacks brand trust among institutions. Ethereum? Still congested and expensive for the average fintech use case. Solana? Explosive, but downtime concerns linger. But Stellar? It's simple, stable, and already battle-tested in real-world environments, remittance corridors, mobile wallets, even NGO financial rails. That's why the price jump this week isn't random. It's not hype-driven. It's not meme-fueled. It's real adoption. And when you layer that on top of speculative momentum, strong technicals, bullish analysts, and a growing army of retail believers, you've got the makings of a coin that doesn't just flip one competitor. It starts knocking on the door of the top 10. So what happens if XLM hits $1? Let's do the math. Right now, at 52 cents, Stellar has a market cap of around $13.7 billion. If it hits $1, that's roughly $26.4 billion. That leap puts it above Polkadot, above Tron, and neck with Avalanche. At $1.50, we're talking $39.6 billion, comfortably inside the top 8. At $2, $52.8 billion, right next to Cardano. Now remember, in the last bull run, XLM peaked at $0.94. That was with a fraction of the current adoption, no smart contract layer, and zero regulatory clarity. Today, it has all of those. So ask yourself, what's really holding it back? Let's rewind to Peter Brandt for a second. This is a man who predicted the 2017 Bitcoin breakout months before it happened. He called the Ethereum double top in 2021. He's not some influencer chasing headlines. He's been charting markets for over 40 years. And when he says Stellar is flashing the most bullish structure in all of crypto, people listen. His $7.23 projection isn't a meme. It's based on the same kind of long-term breakouts that carried coins like Bitcoin from $10,000 to $69,000 and Ethereum from $120 to $4,800. Could XLM really go there? Well, if history repeats, and it often does in crypto, then yes, it's not out of the question. But it'll need fuel. That fuel could come from a major CBDC announcement, Soroban-based stablecoin integrations, An XLM ETF? Yes, whispers have started. Or a Tier 1 banking partnership announced by Stellar Development Foundation. Any one of those could cause a breakout moment, just like BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF filing did for Bitcoin. And here's another twist that might have slipped under the radar. Circle's USDC expansion is continuing. And guess what? They're expanding native issuance to Stellar, making it easier for fintechs to leverage stablecoin payments across borders without touching Ethereum. That's huge, and it positions Stellar as a cheaper, faster, more compliant alternative to the big chains. So we're at a crossroads. Do you fade Stellar now that it's had a good week? Or do you realize that this isn't just a breakout? It's a foundation being laid. One that could put XLM not just in the top 10, but eventually fighting with XRP, Cardano, and yes, even Ethereum, when it comes to global payments infrastructure. Let us know your take in the comments. Is $1 just the beginning? Could $7.23 actually happen? Or is this all just another fake out before the bear roars back? Whatever your view, we'll be tracking every candle, every deal, and every signal. So please, do us a favor. If you're still here, hit like now. It helps way more than you know. And as always, we'll see you at the top.